See it in the papers, you read it every day. The riots and the fire. I've seen a lot of bankers, and I've seen a lot of cops. I've seen a lot of lawyers pull out all the stops. I've seen a lot of children with their parents in their hands. I felt a lot of women who refuse to understand. Well, I don't think I understand why we're making such a fuss. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take this world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet. You see it in the papers, you read it every day. The riots and the fires going on in South LA. The muggers and the government, they're all wanting the same thing. They take all your money, whatever else spring. Well, I don't think I understand why we're making such a fuss. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take this world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet. Take me. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take this world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet. 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 Took everything that I had, yeah. Walked away, but you left one thing behind. You're wondering just what that is. Yes, you are. When the world stops spinning around, I'll be rocking. When the world comes tumbling down, I'll be there. When the world stops spinning around, I'll be rocking. We're gonna make a little love down by the water. Maybe have the sun, maybe have a daughter when the music man calls. That's when I gotta play. So I burn for the things I never had. I'm burning with hate, with love. Sunny skies, the smell of palm tree air. Looking back, I could never feel fair. The way the music has touched my soul, the way that the South holds its control. But I've got a new way to choose. I'm gonna start running back to the lands of the new. Oh, na 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 na. Seems to me that I have lost my old friend. Got the sunset off the highway again. Then I get lost on a long summer day. I must go back before it's too late. You're afraid you're feeling alone. Time and space can never unfold. The holidays can ring in your fear. The ghost embrace can only mean tears. And I've got a new way to choose. I'm gonna start running back for lands of the new. Oh, na 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 na. Sitting at the lake, I'm feeling confused, but I had my guitar, so I played this blues. But I'm afraid, what might be true, that I might never be back again. Seems to me that I've lost my friend. Got the sunset off the highway again. Then I get lost on a long summer day. I must be back before it's too late. Before it's too late. Someone to take me down at night. Someone to make my day. New revelation fills my soul. Oh, I can waste away. You distracting my attention. You're all that's on my mind. You not looking for perfection, but you're too hard to find. Now the first night is coming, and I know what to do. You know that nothing feels sweeter than someone new. dance with you. Distracting my attention, you're all that's on my mind. You, not looking for perfection, but you're too hard to find. Now the first night is coming, and I know what to do, yeah. You know that nothing feels sweeter than someone else, yeah. Now the first night is coming, and I know what to do, yeah. She knows that nothing feels sweeter than someone else. Yeah, alone and free, buddy, that I'm in love with you, yeah. You know that nothing feels sweeter than someone else. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What happened here? All right. Well, something happened. It's never a day without a glitch. It's never a day. Where is the 3-up? Let's get Pete in here because Pete's not even in here. Layers. Something happened where the what you call it? There we go. There's Pete. There we go. And we're on. How's it going, everybody? We made it. Sorry about that.
Hey.
We were busy working out telescope problems offline. We lost track of time, so I apologize about that. Let me just get this set up. My hearing is it. I'm just want to make sure that everybody could hear everything because my hearing is not doing. Let me see if my speakers are. Oh, my speakers on. There we go. Maybe if the speakers were at 100%, we'd be okay. There we go. And let's turn this up a little bit. And I think we're good to go now. Awesome. Great.
Right.
Oh, we got 20 people hanging out with us already really early. We got some early people coming in, so it's nice to see. We got some a new guest slot slated. So we got some news there. And I saw some stuff in the chat. Yeah, Scott is doing fine. He may or may not be on, depending on his Wi-Fi and all that kind of stuff. So I know Charity, you were talking about your Wi-Fi in Florida. So for all of our watchers that are down there dealing with Ian, please stay safe. Watch your families and just if you're down in the Florida area, just hunker down, chill out, and just be in a safe spot. So our thoughts and our feelings and all that prayers go right out to you guys. So just be safe. What else? Better try. Norm, yeah, feel free to hit me up whenever you want. You can text me or whatever. So, anyway, let's do the little sponsored thing real quick because we have a couple things. We picked up one of our own AstroWorld members. Another one is going to be doing a presentation at Astropalooza. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
All right.
And we'll do the quick play, and here we go. So thank you again to our sponsors, and we can't do this with or without not only our member sponsors, but our corporate sponsors that give us all the lovely prizes that we give away every week. So thank you to Woodland Hills, Cameron Telescopes. Hey, Pete, we're going to have to hit up Para. It's getting close to the end of the year to figure out what we're going to do at the end of the year, but it's going to be fun.
For Christmas giveaway.
Yeah, a little Christmas giveaway. Yeah, give me a little something. Prima Luce, Camera Concepts, and Optolong. Everybody's been super generous to us, so thank you for the Eagle, the gift certificates, and don't forget, coming in 2 months, and this Friday we're giving away the L Extreme, the 2-inch L Extreme. And the last Friday of November, we're giving away the 3-nanometer 2-inch filter set. So it's going to be pretty cool. Tonight, we're giving away a IP for AP yearly subscription. Super generous from Masters of Pix Insight, an IP for AP. And we give away classes from Masters of Pix Insight, I think, every week. So if you haven't checked them out, they just started. They're on our third one of the Pix Insight for newbies session, and they just started with the first 3 of those. So go check it out. It's really a good night. Everything gets updated in Pix Insight, so even if you're not a newbie, you're gonna pick up something because I know I do. Bob D'Amato upgraded his membership to a Quasar member. So we have two Quasar level members now. So thank you to Bob. So Bob and John, got to get you something special again. And now that we got the shop is up and running, you see the little spot up there, that was Bob. But Charity, Sean, and George are still our Black Hole members. And then all of our Red Giant members. I know that Hogarth upgraded his. I believe Hogarth is actually a Red Giant member now. I got to double check that. But thank you to everybody else involved with making the channel better. Thank you so much. We have no White Dwarf members anymore, and we still have two members that are still Protostar. Protostar members are now I guess it's a defunct title at this point because we moved over to Patreon. So please, Kieran, Greg, if you're listening, move over to Patreon, and we could. It just makes it easier for me to track all the perks and everything that I give away for you guys. On November 9th, Dr. Sass is going to be on solo, and he's going to be talking about his workflow on APP, which is going to be pretty cool to look into because I know I am not a user of APP because I know little of it. I am the person that likes things. If they work, I just go. I don't want to learn anything new, really. I'm kind of stubborn like that, but maybe, I'll learn something new and maybe I'll find a way to integrate that into my workflow. So I'm looking forward to that. And then on Thanksgiving special, we got Dr. Sass, Dr. Whitby, and Charles Bracken coming on. Charles, the new person. So it's like 3, 2, 1, right? So we got Dr. Sass is coming in first. I put it in order of appearances. So Dr. Sass will be his third appearance on Astroworld. Charles will be his second, and Ernie will be his first. I'm sorry. Max Whippy will be his first. So we're looking really forward to that, and that's going to be the day before Thanksgiving. It'll be a lot of fun. And it's not up here yet. And I'll pause this for a second because we just booked Jeff Dickerman on December 7th from Optech. And he's going to be showing all the products that he has and all the stuff that he has going from Optech Inc., which is a lot of fun. I just bought the FTX 20 and 30 to put on my scopes, and they've been working awesome. So it's going to be great. Astropalooza, the people are growing. It has grown again by one. Ernie Jacobs from us is going to be giving us an overview of Cyril, which is another program that's good for acquisition. So it's going to be interesting. I've played around with it, and Ernie's really good at it. So he's going to be giving us a nice little 20-minute overview of Cyril, which is going to be a lot of fun. And then, of course, we got Josh doing data management, Nico, Molly, Amy, and Sean all coming on. Maybe one panel for them. I just might do one panel for them. Not sure. I'll have more information as the schedule gets populated. And again, join us on all of our social media platforms, on YouTube, on our Discord. We're at 85 now on Discord. Twitch, we're almost at 30 members on Twitch. I thought that would never happen. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So pretty cool stuff going on here. Let me get us back to the 3 up again, and we be back. Names are probably wrong. Yes, Scott is now Peter. There we go. And how's it going, everybody? What's going on, Eric? How's your Nina trial going? Is your autofocus working a little better, or?
Autofocus is actually it's working better. Now I'm going through the offset calculator, right? So Nina is really impressing me. I can't wait to get all this done. The main reason why I wanted to do this is because I wanted to use Hocus Pocus and do the offsets. And also, I think I was reading from Chad and Patriot Astro and another YouTuber about how I can use Hocus Pocus to correct the tilt of my camera and camera sensor. And with me having the 2600 now with the built-in tilt plate adapter, I want to be able to take advantage of this.
Yeah.
And understand how it all works, and hopefully correct that tilt, any tilt issues that I'm having, or at least see what I've got to deal with, so I can go out here and correct them. This is probably not the best time for me to be messing around and switching around and going to Nina, being the new moon, and it's like it's completely dark. So you know what? I'm just going to play with it right now. and at least get the offsets done, calculations done, and I might just run back and hook back up my ASI Air because I am going after dark nebulae this week. So yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah,
no,
no, right now it's working. It's so far. I mean, the Parabellum, everything's looking good. So thanks, man.
yeah, no problem. Yeah, the biggest thing, and somebody already chatted his name, Chad from Patriot Astro.
Yeah.
He has a really good video on how to use not the just to get the focus step size, and the how many steps you want on either side of your focus point. So whether that be 3, 4, 5, or more, um, he has a really good video, and that's how I learned that like 5 to 6 times rule. So when you do that, when you got your focus point, whatever your lowest, I think my mic is a little bit hot, but
Yeah, it sounds a little hot.
yeah, I just turned it down a little bit. But what you want to do is when you're doing the autofocus in Nina, you whatever your lowest, your in focus FWHM or what's the other one? The
HFD.
HFD, sorry, half flux. Whatever the HFD is, you want to be for your first focus point on Nina at least 5 to 6 times your lowest HFD. So if you're at a 2 and you're in focus, your first focus point should be at a 12. Okay.
Mhm.
So now you need to find out what your step size is at focus. Now, for argument's sake, we'll say that's 1,000. And your focus point at 12 HFD is 2,000, just for argument's sake. And if you want 5 steps in between, the difference from your 2 to your 5 times your 10 is 1,000. You want 5 points in between. So 5 divided by 1,000 steps would be 200. That would be your step size. And that's the way Chad taught me on YouTube. It works
Yeah.
pretty well. Now it's just a starting point. Like you said, you're gonna want to kind of make that parabola kind of a little bit narrow, not like that kind of like you kind of you want it kind of a U, but you want it like a little bit high up and down and around. But bottom line is whatever gets you in focus gets you in focus. So I
Get
mean,
your
just
focus. Right.
yeah. So
Yeah. So right now, like I said, I've got the my V curve. It does seem more slightly bowl shaped versus really tight.
yeah,
Where
it's more like coming out like this
coming out, yeah, it's more coming out and then
instead of
going
like
in.
this.
Yeah, instead of like there. Exactly. So I'm just
Yeah, just
gonna, but right now it's working. I'm not
yes.
messing, just
If it
leave it
ain't broke,
alone.
don't
And
fix it. You know what I mean?
exactly, exactly. So right now, so far so good. So we'll see how it goes.
Good. How you doing, Mr. Pete?
Doing good. Doing good. Just watching you two guys going at it.
The hand motions.
Yeah, hand motion.
Everyone thinks I'm Italian because I talk with my hands a lot. I'm not one bit Italian. I just do. I just hung out with a lot of Italians. I'm Italian by injection, I guess. But but yeah. So I mean, just so you guys know, there was something that was put, and I'm gonna share my screen real quick. Let me see if I can get out of this, and let me go to the AstroWorld site because let me put the ticker up too. Where's my ticker? Where my ticker is? There we go. AstroWorld site, and Al Need did a really cool challenge on Discord. And what he did was he took a picture and he took, I believe it was 496 subs of the Pleiades. And what he did was Yeah, 496 subs. So I don't know how long they were. It really doesn't matter. Just, just go with it right now. But what he did was, one, he stacked an APP and processed it in PixInsight. And another one, he live stacked in SharpCap.
Okay.
Same process, same everything, whatever. And he dumped it on Discord. And I was hard pressed to kind of look and see which one was the live stack, So that being said, I'm going to show it to you real quick. And it just became a really good poll question. And I threw it on the picture of the week page as a poll to see.
Okay.
Here we go. So let's see. Here we go. So here's the new poll. One is live stacked with SharpCap. The other one is stacked with the APP with PixInsight. They were both the same process when they were done. Okay. And so here is number one, I guess. Right?
Yep.
And there's number two. And you can vote on the site. Now I'll make this a little bit smaller so everyone can see it. Right? And you can vote for whichever one you think, and you can actually download the TIFF. I made the TIFF available to everybody. You can download the TIFF by clicking either on the picture, and it'll go right to option A, option B, and you can download the TIFF and Pixel Peep and whatever.
Wow.
But
just right now, just by looking at them, I'd be hard pressed to say which is which.
Yeah, well, download the TIFF, take a look at them. I already voted. This is the first vote, but you can vote now, and the answer will be given out at Astropalooza. There you go.
Nice.
So I already voted. So everybody vote and find out. Well, we'll see who thinks what. Got some wine going. Had a rough day today.
Oh no.
Yeah, I got a leak in my oil tank.
Yeah, you were saying. It's like, my gosh.
Not fun.
It's just, I guess it's just because I'm here in the Midwest and we're not dependent on, New York, and over there in the Northeast, and the older, guess you can call them the 13 colony originals. You guys are more
like Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, the old school, the New England spots. You guys are more like natural, more like oil, for heating and stuff like that. While here in the Midwest, we're natural gas. At least where I'm at, it's natural gas.
Everything's electric in New York. I've lived in New York for my whole life.
Okay.
I have never had oil tanker anywhere.
Oh, okay.
Until I moved to this town.
Until you moved to Long Island.
Levittown's an old town, and it's just like, there's a couple of Levittowns in the Northeast, and just to give you a little, I know this has nothing to do with Astro, but just so you know, there was two Levittowns. It was made by this guy named Levitt, and in 1948, he and did everybody hear that? 1948, my mic went out for a second. In 1948, he built two towns, and they were all cookie cutter towns. So the houses were exactly the same. The streets were always messed up, and there's a reason for that. This is why Levittowns are always screwed. If you ever go to Levittown, New York, or Levittown, PA, the streets are all screwed up. they're all screwed up. They turn around into each other. You can't find your way out. And he did that on purpose. But what he made these towns for in 1948 was for the returning of servicemen, so that they could have a place to stay after
Right.
coming home from World War II. So that being said, he made these streets all screwed up so that if anyone tried to rob a house, the robbers would get lost. So the cops would find out where they were before they were able to get out of the town. So that's with GPS now that becomes defunct. But I mean, back in 1948, that was definitely something that would work. But I mean, it's just this is the only town I've ever had oil with. But anyway, we have a little bit of an interesting picture of the month this time coming. So this is the first time in the picture of the month we've had 3 pictures by the same person in picture of the month. Panagiotis Galanopoulos, if I'm saying it right. I think I've said it a couple times. I think if I butchered it, I apologize. This person has been putting out some unbelievable photographs. Got 3 pictures of the week this month. And he's been. I thank you. I'm just gonna call you PG, but thank you, PG, for allowing somebody else to win one, so we have somebody else to vote for. But it's Penny Yotis. I guess I'm pronouncing it wrong, so I apologize. Hey, I did the best I could. I'm a fake Italian. I'm sorry, but but it's really good photos, really great, and Greg Meyer is the outlier with that wide field Andromeda galaxy photo. So,
But that's pretty that's just pretty special, when you have one person that's able to have, not just one, not just 2, but 3
in a month,
basically in 1 month. So that means that's almost so that's 3/4 of the month right there, pretty much, if you're going back 4 weeks per month.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like that's pretty darn cool.
There's only about 3 or 4 people now that have more pictures of the week than him. Mark Ellis, Chris Frierickson, and I think I'm missing one more. But those 2 have the most right now. I think it's 5 and 4 pictures of the week. So we're kind of coming down to the home stretch in the 4th quarter. So if you want to win that special prize for most pictures of the week, you may as well get your pictures in. Get your pictures in and vote. I don't know what happened with that 1 week where we had like over 100 votes, but
Mhm.
it dropped down to about 40 and then 30. So please vote, get your people in, vote, and the more votes, the better. So there you go, Al. Well, start voting for me if you want variety. There you go, Al. Yeah, so I took some. I finally had some clear skies, and I took some pictures with my. I probably went too small with this. I was picturing the Ring Nebula. The Ring Nebula is it's tiny. Um, I went with the 800 because I'm sorry, the 80 Esprit with it because I had the one shot color on it already. I
Okay.
didn't want to have to switch things around. And I forgot to take the MBZ out, so I ended up taking a full night of MBZ data on the Ring Nebula, which isn't totally it's usable. I could still
Yeah.
use it. That's not a problem. But I really wanted to do a one shot color on it because I'm really trying to before I like pass away from old age. I want to finish this astrophotography meets D&D collage, and it's going to take me a while to do it because my skies are just horrible, and the list that I have is right. It's right here. So it's Thor's helmet, the flying bat, the Medusa Nebula, the owl, the ring, the wizard, and so on.
Yeah.
But I only have three objects done so far. I need another 3, 6, 9. So I need another 6. So it's going to be squares around a square.
So, you'll make it.
I'll make it.
You'll make them.
I'll probably be 9. I'll be 90. So once you get your Nina figured out, Eric, what are you going to be taking a picture of?
Well, I'm sticking around in Cepheus. You know, this month has been all about Cepheus for me. And what I am using my custom astrophotography planner that Charlie Bracken had created for me. And I am going to be going after the Wolf's Cave, which is Bernard 175 and BDB 152, which is it's a dark nebula there in Cepheus. So yeah, and so I'm hanging around in this constellation. There's just so much fun things to image here in this one constellation, and it's easy for me because it's it's due north away from, especially in even when you get later in towards full moon and everything. When the moon starts to rise, you're still far enough away that you can get some decent imaging done in Cepheus. So it's still quite a ways away from it's on the opposite side, away from the moon. So I like hanging around this particular constellation. There's just a lot of stuff in here to image. So.
Yeah, there is, and eventually, well, for me, the whole summer triangle by 2 a.m. is right at the telephone wire, so you could see. And you know what? I think I have them here, and I'll show them to you in a minute. But I got pictures of the for people that don't believe me with the telephone wires and how much data I gotta cut out. But let's see, bad data M57. Here you go. So I'll just open these guys up. And yeah. And here is PixInsight. And let's super stretch this. Up there's the telephone line right there, and there's the ring nebula right there. So this is at 11:06 at night. So if I started at 8, I only got about 2, because you could actually see the outside shadow of the this is in my bad data file, so I'm not using this. But I mean, you could see as we go on, it just moves right into the picture. And it's unfortunate that
just stinks. Yeah, it is unfortunate.
So I need to make it. You can see it starting right here, but and that's what I got to deal with, unfortunately. So I need to make a better horizon. That's only the first telephone wire. There's a set of 3 more after that, pretty much I go right to the top of the 3. The first one I'll lose. I'll just go out inside and outside the photo.
Okay.
But and I'll use, if it's something this small, I'm gonna crop it out anyway. So it doesn't really affect the final image for this, because the bottom line is, if you take a look again, and I know you can see it hasn't been debayered or anything, but if I just open up, this is a blank screen. Open, where's it? Bad data. So when I just open this up again, When I do the final picture, it's gonna be kind of like that. It's gonna look like that. So, again, that's only one image, but that's the idea of what it's gonna look like. That being said, that telephone wire is not in the way anymore, so it's gonna be cropped out as it is. There's everything around the Ring Nebula is it's just star space. That's all it is. It's not like there's other cool nebulas and stuff around. There's nothing really around it that makes it any interesting. But
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing it. Once it's all said and done.
yeah, Dave, there is a cool galaxy there. I'm going to try and get that in there. With the amount of data that I have, I can probably bring it out. But there's really nothing kind of superstar in the area of the ring. But hey, we'll see what happens. I got the wizard done. I got a lot of information on the cave. I got the eagle done. I got next thing that's coming up is going to be September, October. So I'll be using the flying bat. I'll be getting the flying bat with the 80 in a 2x2 mosaic using the MBZ. So we'll definitely check that out.
Good.
So that's the next thing on my list. It's always nice to have some sort of plan if you're doing something like this. If you have something with a theme, or if you have something with an interest, or even if you just say, okay, you know what, September, I want to do this, this, and this, and that's what I want to do. Make a plan of what you want to image, because there's so many times where I sit there and I'd be like, the beautiful sky. What the hell am I imaging? And I'm looking through star charts for like an hour, looking for something. And
I'll tell you, that's why it's so great to have this planner here from Charles Bracken, because it's broken up by the everything that's at least 20 degrees above my horizon. That's the minimum that he sets, which is totally fine for me. And that's probably pretty much the standard that you want to be at, is at least 20 degrees at minimum for your imaging. But everything that's around in my general area, in my latitude and longitude, that's throughout the entire year. So he's giving me everything, all these great ideas, all these great targets to say, hey, Eric, this time of year, go after this stuff. It makes it a lot simpler.
Yep.
Makes it a lot easier than trying to figure out, okay, what am I going to image? This is a great night. What am I going to do? Stuff like that. So yeah, no, it's really cool.
And you know what's good? You know what's good also? Is this. And here we go. Here we go. And I actually had the opportunity to meet this gentleman a couple years back, Ruben Kier.
Okay.
Makes a great book, and it's written for mid-northern latitudes, so it's kind of like the planner. The planner is written from anywhere from 30 to 50, right? And if you want to spend the $20, you get the there you go. The 100 best astrophotography targets, and it does it by date. So
yeah,
May 17th, the whale and the hockey stick. Image that. And it gives you a picture and an example of
October 13th, the helix.
There you go.
Right there.
So it'll give you a really nice pointer of stuff to kind of go to. And Telescopius is great, but sometimes it's information overload, where there's so like I do looking for an image, and I say I want something between 8 and 5 in the morning and I want, I don't know, nebula, bright nebula.
Yep.
And all of a sudden it starts throwing out these random nebulas that are like this big, that's going to image scale on my scope. Like I can't even see it. So there's a way, there are things around that. You could do apparent size and you could do stuff like that. But you really got to kind of know how to manipulate telescope. I'm sorry, telescopius.
Telescopius, yeah.
In order to get the results that you want, you got to kind of play around with it quite a bit.
Yeah.
The title is the 100 Best Astrophotography Targets.
Targets, yep.
By
And it's
Ruben
written by
Kier.
Kier. Yep.
Ruben Kier made a presentation at our Starfest that we used to hold upstate New York.
Here's something else that's kind of interesting. Jerry Ludgris. Remember, Jerry came up with this CD.
I remember
And
Jerry.
this is a really good one. You just go ahead and you pop the CD in, and it literally will show you wide-angle images from the spring, summer, fall, and winter. And it's another great opportunity to look. And I don't know if he still has this, but you can go to his website.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So I'm just putting this up, and I'm gonna put this up. Copy, and here you go. And there's a link to the book I was talking about. If anybody was wondering.
There you go.
Why do my tickers? My tickers keep on stopping. But yeah, what is today? Today, somebody asked, what is today? Today is the last
September
Wednesday of the month.
Yeah, last Wednesday of the month. Yep. So we'll be closing out the running for this month's picture of the month. Well, as far as for the month here, so we'll be getting ready to start choosing the September picture of the month. What next week, right?
Yeah, in Saturday. Saturday's the first day of voting.
There you
and let's see. Today is actually critique night. I totally forgot about it.
go. Everybody's asking, who has an optical reader anymore? Do I have a computer with a CD drive? Actually, I don't.
I don't. I have a USB CD drive now. That's what I have.
Yeah.
And let me see.
Yeah, that's true.
Is there anything in the critique folder? Because today is critique night.
Yep.
And Astropod submissions, critique. Oh yeah, there's 2 in there. There's 3 in there. All right.
Okay.
I'll download those right now. And one's from Dave Schaefer. One's from, who is this from? Looks like no name. Unless if it's.
So he wants to be incognito.
Oh, I see it now. Yeah, I've learned to look at the names now, because some people think they're jokers.
Oh yeah. Who's
that would be
now?
you. That would be you, Eric.
That's not me. I haven't done anything, honestly. I haven't submitted anything for real.
Is there another Eric Watson?
What? I haven't done anything I haven't submitted anything in quite some time. It's been like a month or two.
Did he submit it under his name called Alfred E. Newman?
No. What? Me worry? Because your 7129 came up again.
Oh, the 7129 came up again. Okay. I was wondering. I was like, that was a while ago.
I know I put in previous, but here's the first one. This is from Dave Schaefer, but I think this is an older picture too. I don't know why things are popping back up in that folder. But here's the first one. There you go. Can you see that?
The Pelican.
Yeah, that's your
Yes.
There you go. What's that?
that's
yours,
your image.
isn't it?
You got all the green in it. That's
No.
your image.
That's not my image.
Are you going under the name of Dave Schaefer now?
No, definitely no. I wouldn't do that to Dave. Dave's better looking than me. Let's see. So where is my? Why is that happening? Completed. That's my image.
Well, that's right. You got the neon green.
I got the neon green. I got the special. I do the oversaturation well, I think. So that's my style. But this is so a couple things that I like about this. And you know, the Pelican Nebula has some really cool definition in here, and this is what I like in here. All this.
Yeah, the dark
darkness
dust
in
the
here.
dark
And then
Yeah.
these little columns here.
Yep.
And in here.
Do me a favor, Dan. Scroll to the left. And keep going. Are those Bach globules? Oh yeah, there's a couple of Bach globules right up there. See?
One here.
Yep, right in there.
Yep.
Yep.
But they brings out a lot of good definition in here. The only thing that I hate, and I you know what, it's not taking away from the picture, because the picture is awesome. The definition is great. The color, I like the color. I like that you left a little bit of green in here and in here. I like the little bit of green. It's, you know, somebody said it's to me recently. It's very Masters of Pixinsight-ish. But you know, taking lessons from Ron and all those people for many years, that's what kind of rubbed off on me. But I like the green. I like the transition here. But the one thing I can't stand about narrowband is how it totally destroys the star color. And
Yeah.
if I was to add anything to this, I would just add some RGB data to get the star color back, and this would be just completely great.
So you'd make a star mask and then you do an RGB for the stars and then put that back on.
Yep. That's exactly what I do. Yep.
But overall, the stars are nice, round, they're tight.
No, the shape of the stars are awesome. It's just that the narrowband just squashes the color of them, and you really need to kind of really push it, and it makes it look kind of like it looks like a BS like kind of color. But the stars look really good as far as the shape is concerned.
Yeah, Charity. I mean, yeah. May I say something about that image? Yeah, go for it. I mean,
I'd be curious to see what this looked like with Star Exterminator. It would be kind of cool to see this without the stars.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I know in Star Exterminator you can make a mask and then just do an RGB for the stars only.
Yeah, you could definitely do that. I mean, and the same thing happened with mine. And I got this, I suffer from the same issue where same thing. I kind of really blew out the star color here just to get some. This is not RGB data. This is all narrowband data. But if you take a look at my stars, I'm starting to get those halos around it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
got green stars too.
What's that?
Looks like you got some green stars too. See the smaller stars or some green stars there?
I don't know if that's green stars or just the green that I kind of put on there. But
well, yeah, I mean, take a look. If you go to the blue end of it there, you can kind of see
up here. Maybe I start to see it a little more. But you know, eventually I'll get my RGB stars on there as well. What did Cherry have to say?
Yeah, well, one thing Charity was saying is the stars are nice, but the first thing that she noticed was that the stars look a little like a top layer of the image of sorts.
I could definitely see that. I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
So when we go back to the image, yeah, you know what? I could see that. Maybe a little bit of star reduction because the big stars are kind of taken away from it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a little less sharpening to make the pelican come out a little bit more. I could see that. Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Josh said he just uploaded both of his.
Both of what? There's more in there now. All right. Oh, yep. There we go. We got more.
Yeah.
And I'll download those too. I also have a Leo Trio. Let's see. Say that. Downloads. First one, showing folder. Loading. There you go. It's the Leo Trio for you. Not sure who it's from. I think it said, let me see if I could see. Download drive. This is by David Wood.
I like it.
I do like it.
I like the detail. I like the detail in the hamburger galaxy. No, I think it's really nice. Nice star color. Yeah, that's a great side shot. I love even seeing the nebulae and the hydrogen there. That's really nice.
Yep. And again, we are super zoomed in, so
Yeah.
look at that dust lanes. Really nice job on this one. And where's the other one? There it is. More hydrogen.
Yep.
The only thing I might, and again, we're super zoomed in. I thought I saw some squaring of the stars up at the top. And again, we are super zoomed in, so this really isn't fair. I really shouldn't be doing that. but nice color, nice definition of everything. I think that's a pretty awesome picture, actually.
That's one of the best seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, the background is quite dark. It looks a little bit unnatural to me.
Yep.
And I think that Josh is mentioning as well that it is a bit dark.
Yep.
But overall, I mean, it almost makes it look like you're printing that this is a print on glossy paper.
Yep.
You know, like printing it on glossy, like this is a printout from off glossy paper. Was why it's so the contrast is so deep, you know, and the dark, you know, you get that it's really, you know, dark. But
yeah, and I think we're pushing like the black level is a little too much, but
yeah.
you know.
But besides that, I think it's really good. I love the detail. Absolutely love the detail that's coming out on these galaxies.
And plus, take a look at the star color. There's been true star color. I mean, you've got, you know, red to white to blue. I mean,
Yep.
there's definitely a whole spectrum on the star color. So
Mm-hmm.
I love this galaxy. Hamburger galaxy is awesome.
Yeah.
that's yep, good photo.
And what do we got in the chat? Anything in the chat?
Yeah, I mean, get some nice. there's some nice comments here.
I don't know the
So,
focal
yeah,
length. There's no information on the shot, unfortunately, for that one.
Yeah, and yeah, Josh again. He's saying, you know, on that Leo triplet, nice, very nice detail on the galaxies. Really nice detail on the galaxies, but the background is very dark. Charity's even saying, you know, that would be a poster in my locker. You know, if I were 13, because I was like, yeah, okay, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So no, some good comments. Yeah.
Here's Josh number 1. This is SH126 mosaic. SH126. A lot of dark nebula floating around.
A lot of dark nebulosity. Yeah, a lot of opacity.
I'm just trying to see what I don't really know SH126. But let's see. SH126. Well, the star funnel. Ah. I think I see it. Yeah, there it is. It's upside down this way. So it needs to me, I think it needs a lot more data.
It does. Yeah. Now that I'm looking at it, because again, you know, one of the things is that's a great, you know, way to know what you're, you know, when you're having a hard time trying to see the target or get an idea of what the target's supposed to look like. AstroBin is a very good tool to be able to utilize.
It definitely gives you an idea of what an object might look like.
Yes,
exactly. And you know, I think this object, even though it's a great panel because it's a mosaic and it gives you a nice wide field, I think that there's a lot more here and in here that you could get with a lot more. I could start see the shadows here and up in here, but I think
what camera was used?
Josh is in there, so he could answer that question, I'm sure. It looks like it's his normal T7. 18 hours on each pane on this.
Wow.
18 hours on each panel.
Maybe it was because it's a DSLR and not. Did you happen to use, like, say, a 12 nanometer hydrogen alpha filter on this? Because I think that would have helped. I mean, 7 or 12 nanometer, if you know, you could get that for those, like those clip-ins or add-ins for your Canon. But
if that's a monochrome.
Oh, here you go. Here's number 2 of it. This is his second version. Same.
See that's once again when you start talking about monochrome filters, that's where the advantage of a 3 nanometer will come in, because it'll give you better contrast compared to a 5 or an 8 nanometer transmission bandpass.
Yeah, but with him having this Canon, unmodified Canon, I don't know if a 3 nanometer would.
Well, no, that's what I'm leading up to. So was the camera, was it a DSLR unmodified? Was it modified?
Unmodded T7.
Yeah, an unmodded DSLR.
Okay, so that's going to be, yeah.
So this is the same picture, just a little bit more over-processed, bringing out the reds a little bit, looking a little pinkish.
Yeah,
looks like.
Can you zoom in a bit on that lower?
One other question: when was this taken? In the summertime? Because there's a lot of noise. So I'm wondering if it's a summertime image because there was no cooling.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Oh, these nice little galaxies up here. There's a lot of cool stuff in here.
He said this was in the last couple weeks. So yeah, this was during the summertime.
Summer.
The last couple weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, as I said, that's the problem with those unmodded cameras, is that you just don't have any cooling. So it just kind of adds to the busyness of it. It's just a lot of noise in here.
Yep.
It looks like you tried to kind of get it out, because I'm starting to see some noise removal artifacts in the stars.
And then take a look at the stars. You see how you got the
dots
right up in the top right corner? There's like a blue with
and this.
Yep.
And
You're just dealing with that DSLR, unfortunately.
Yeah. And again,
but overall, yeah, as I said, the content of the image is a good idea. I mean, I like this idea, but it unfortunately it's just not the right. It's not the right image for the camera that you're using.
I think if you're just looking at it as a nice wide field picture, which is what it's really made for, I think it's, as long as you don't pixel peep, it's fine. What is this? Is this another galaxy up here? No, but I mean, there's a lot of good stuff in here. And again, you know, if you only had a cool camera, it'd be so much of a cleaner picture. But that's just my opinion. I mean, I think you got some good data there, but I think you're being held back by the T7. I think a little bit.
Just the limitations of the camera.
That's just my opinion, though. My mic keeps on going out for some reason. I don't know why. HSV correction, but it's still. All right. Uncooled astrocams are tough. They are not easy.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough to get that camera cooled down. If you're taking 3-4 minute shots and you're heating up that board, it's definitely not easy. A lot of magenta in the cores, and again, you know, the easiest way, the quick fix magenta, and I've said it a couple times on the show. Invert the picture. It'll turn the magenta to green. Yep. And then take about 50% of the green out using SCNR, and just your green will be gone. And then invert it back. And then you'll still maintain your star color. You'll just get rid of the magenta. That's a run breacher trick. I think I saw. Yeah, it's big difference. Big difference. Yeah, Josh, it could do that if you do a full blast screen takeout, but if you only take out a little bit, it won't. I haven't used it, but again, it's just a quick trick on that, Josh. Quick fix, you know, pull the Band-Aid off. John G said I need to set up a new tier above Quasar. Hey, if people are willing to, I'll put a $50 a month tier up there. No problem. I just don't think anyone will buy it.
Yeah. You never know. Hey, you never know.
All right. Well, I didn't think anyone would buy a $20 one. That's why I went up to 35. And let me see if there's any more in here. Yeah, there's Hogarth sent one. Oh, this is going to be good, I think. M31 September. Look at that.
Nice.
Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see something first. So my eye always gets. I'm a negative Nancy, I guess. I'm sorry. So, I just wanted to see what that was. It turns out to be nothing, but it just stuck out to me. But I mean, look at all the hydrogen information in it. Great job on not totally blowing out the core.
Yes, absolutely.
Which is super. It's not easy to do with this object. It's so easy to blow out the core of the Andromeda Galaxy because it's so bright.
Yep.
A lot of people tone down the bluish halo of this, and Hogarth didn't here. And I think I like it with the blue halo. I do.
I like it personally.
Except my problem is that background is too purple.
I was gonna say that too, especially right here.
Yeah, it's just a little too purple in that background. They just need to tone that down just a little bit. But overall, definitely, I think it's a good image.
Yeah, just
because I'm looking at a screen here. I'm looking at on a 45-inch screen here, and it definitely is purple background.
Yep. Even Hogarth is saying, yeah, it was too purple.
Yeah.
You know, if you could keep the blue halo here,
yep,
and just work on the background just a little bit, get rid of the blue, you know, protect the galaxies, protect the stars, just work on the background and get that, you know, drag that saturation of the blues down. And he said this was last year's photo. He said he's learned a lot about PixInsight since this image.
Oh, sure.
But yeah, but I mean, hey, listen, if this is last year's image, I'd be really interested to see what this year's looks like. So pretty cool. So nice pictures, everybody.
Yep. Jan, do we take a look at the second image that was submitted there, just to the left of the Pelican, or just to the right of the Pelican? Excuse me.
That was
right.
Hold on. I'll do this. I'll just go like this. There you go. Bye. Bye. That was Eric's from like 2 months ago. So
yeah.
Eric snuck one in there and tried to get it over on me, and I was critiquing it, and Eric is giggling in the background. But but hey, thank you everybody who has. If anybody else wants to send in any other pictures, feel free to drop them in the critique folder, and we'll do more of that tonight. So, but as
cool.
of right now,
I like that.
Those are the last couple right now. I'm gonna move those into the previous folder so I don't look at them again. But nice job to everybody. Those have all been great pictures. You know, again, and what we say on the show, and that's just to our 6 eyes right now. If you like the picture, it's yours. The bottom line is we just say what we think, and you know, if you want to learn how to do something a little bit better, just ask. And you know, we might not even know the answer, but we could get it for you. So Norm, you're sending a pic. Stop it.
Here's another good book that I actually use.
Yep.
Lessons from the Masters. It's really a good book on post-processing, but it's really more not for PixInsight, more for Photoshop. So really kind of talks about bringing in the raw image from PixInsight and then really just fine-tuning it in with Photoshop.
It looks like we might have one more. It's not there yet. It looks like we have somebody from. So guess what we just got? We got our first visitor on the website from Nigeria.
Really? Wow. Okay.
I thought that was shocking. Up here, no. Oh, I see. He made his own folder. Hold on a second. And I see somebody else put up an iris. So let me download this. This is going to be interesting. And this is looks like from one of our Southern Hemisphere watchers. And we'll download this. go. Oh my goodness. There you go, Ray.
So it's the iris.
Nope.
Oh, wow. Look at this.
What?
Wow. Whoa, wow. Look at that glob, man. Whoa, but look at this.
So this
Is that the
is
cat?
that's a small Magellanic Cloud.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm trying to get the information. Give me a second. And the details on this are 6 hours with the Antilla Golden Duo Narrowband, 10-minute exposures with an 80 millimeter triplet, about 400 millimeters in focal length. 6 hours worth of data. Not sure what skies it is. So Oliver, if you want to let us know where you're shooting from, that would be great.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a great shot, and that's only 6 hours worth of data. So this has got to be not sure yet. The iris is from Mike. So Ali's Astro, that's who it is. Ali's Astro just sent it. Welcome again from the Southern Hemisphere, Ali.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm
Glad to
curious
have
if
you
he's
with us.
online. How did he get wind of us? I'd be curious to ask.
Yeah, curious to know.
Good question. I wonder if he went to bed yet, but he might still be there. Apparently, he has a YouTube channel. Ernie watches it, so maybe he found us on YouTube. But this is an unbelievable photo. These and the background's really nice. It's you know
Yep.
it's
Oh, you look at that.
it looks like
Look at
little
all that.
mini explosions. It's like kind of
Mm-hmm.
It does.
Yeah, it does.
another nice little either glob or open cluster here. Little reflection nebula in here. Looks like another cluster here, and the big one over here.
Okay.
Nice framing though. Nice frame. I love the framing. I still can't believe it. It shocks me that it's just 6 hours. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, that's why I'm curious about the skies.
Victoria, Australia, Orbital 5-6. The cluster is 75 Tucanae.
Okay. That's the cluster.
Tucanae.
Hey, Dan, do me a favor. Right in the center there's a huge cluster right there. If I'm not mistaken, I was reading that, if I'm not mistaken, that's supposed to be one of the most massive star forming regions. I mean, these stars in there are supposed to be just massive stars that are going to eventually just burn out at a young age. But I can't remember what the name of it is. Maybe Ollie might be able to give a suggestion what it's called.
All right, we'll wait on that. I know we got one more. We got an Iris Nebula in here. And for this one, we have Mike Gibbs from the ASCAR FR400. 368 3-minute shots. That's 900 minutes or so, 1,000 minutes. Let me see if I can download it. It'll make it look better. Make it look a little bit better here. Save it. Open. There we go. See, to me, when you start to make these dark nebulas brown, that's when I know you've got a good amount of data. I think you got the right amount of data here. There's so much nebulosity around here that it artificially makes the picture look brighter than it really is. But you can tell from the corner right over here that your background is dead on. That looks pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Yep.
And really, really good stars.
The star
Really,
color is
really
great. Maybe just a little bit oversaturated on the star color for me. Maybe just a little bit. But the nebulosity, see, this is where you want to kind of look. Look at the stars in the center.
Yep.
You could see them, which is awesome.
Yeah.
A lot of people, when they do this, the center gets so bright it blows out this
out
V.
every.
See this V here? I call this to me. I call this the mini Hyades. That's what I call this, and I it's just me, so I could kind of it's kind of like seeing the trapezium in the middle of M42. A lot of people blow that out, but when you're able to see this, that means you got a really good temperance in your brightening and in your saturation of the nebula. So really, really cool. Yeah. So yeah, these guys up here, those aren't so bad. I mean, they're just really, really bright as far as that's concerned. To me, I think it kind of takes away. I think my eyes gravitate to these two stars here, as opposed to the great job you did with the nebula here. But I mean, this looks, it's phenomenal to me. It did a really good job.
No, this is a very, very nice 7023. This is a really, really nice.
That's what, 1,000 minutes or so. So how many hours is that? 6. I don't know. What's 1,000 divided by 60? 40 hours? No, 40 hours would be 24. 20 hours would be 1,200. So this was Mike G right above you. Mike G. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to get those stars without washing out the subtle ones of the other ones. So you may just want to work on literally these two stars. That's it. Just mask out the whole thing except for these two stars, and then just kind of just reel it in just a little bit. Hi, Gideon. How you doing? It's just a suggestion, Mike. I mean, I know when we do this, sometimes we're super critical. Our pictures aren't as good as half these, but let me tell you, another set of eyes kind of helps out sometimes. I mean, sometimes, just take it or leave it, man. But that's what we do. And let me get this back. There you go, Mike. Beat it up. There you go.
Beat it up. I put it there.
Beat it up. There's really not much to beat in all these photographs. All the photographs are really, really good. So
yeah, we got some really talented audience members that know what they're doing.
And nice to see something in the southern hemisphere too. That was nice. Look at that. Whew.
And that's another good topic, because people are always looking at what is the ratio from my luminance to red to green to blue. And everybody has something that they do. And I'm just going to throw this out, but typically my recommendation would be like, say, a ratio of luminance to red, green to blue is like a 3:1 to 1:1.
Yep.
And as I said, if you kind of stick by that kind of rule of thumb, I think you'll be fine with broadband filters.
Yeah, because what some people that are starting out with, and we'll bring this into the newbie kind of realm here. Luminance, what a misconception of a luminance filter is that it gets in all the color, kind of. It just lets in all the light, but it doesn't. It was when you're doing monochrome, that's where you get all your detail from. And your RGB is just there to place the color. You're getting all that data. You get a little bit of resolution from your RGB, but your luminance is where you're going to get it all. And that's why people make a synthetic luminance when you're doing OSC. When you're doing OSC, you extract your luminance, and then you process that as luminance data. You process the RGB separate, and then you place the luminance in, and then you got a synthetic LRGB where you actually got back some of your resolution that you could have possibly never gotten because you're just dealing with the luminance.
Yeah. And then that brings up another good question is let's talk about luminance filters, because literally you've got a multitude. And I tell you what I've been playing with, Dan, and this might be a recommendation to you where you're at. I know you don't do too much broadband where you're at right there, but when you go out to Cherry Springs, take a look at Hutech's P2 filter.
Okay.
And give that one some consideration as your luminance filter, because it's really good where you're at. If you get out, like, what's Cherry Springs? Is that like a Bortle 4, Bortle 3, Bortle 4? Just right in there, yeah. You might have a lot
right
of
now. It's a 3-ish right now.
That P2 filter would be really good for you because it definitely has a good spec on it. So take a look at the Hutech specs on that P2 filter for your luminance, and I think you'd be quite surprised.
Well, just ever since, and I keep giving Eric props on this because he deserves it. But Eric brought the MBZ to AstroWorld, the knowledge of AstroWorld, a while ago. Yeah, mine is right now. I just took it out. Yeah, but brought the MBZ to everybody's attention, and personally, I've sold about 7 or 8 since then, just from the people on the show. Forget about everybody else that I've been talking about in the store, but now I'm getting the D3s in, right? Because of the performance of the NBZ. Now I'm going to get the D3s, and now I'll get the P2s, because I got to be honest with you. If they perform just as good as the MBZ, then it's going to be worth every penny.
Yeah.
It's going to be worth every penny.
Yeah, I don't know if Hutech has discontinued the P2. I haven't really checked out Ted quite a bit, because I know when I talked to him, when we were initially talking about the NBZ filter was 3 years ago, and he was talking about what transmission bandpass I'd recommend. And that's when I said, Ted, it depends upon what the focal ratio scope is. We both know if you're going to go with something real fast, you need to have a wider transmission curve. So that's when he decided to come up with the fast NBZ and the wide one. But I do know that, like in my Starlight Express filter wheel, I've got just my regular luminance filter, and I also have a P2 filter. So it kind of depends upon what Bortle skies that I'm at that I'm going to be shooting. And if I know that I'm at, like, say, somewhere between 3 and 5, then I'll use the P2 filter as my luminance filter. And if I'm at a dark skies like I go to, and I'm at a 1, then I'll definitely use this my regular luminance filter. But it's a good idea.
Where do you get a 1?
Hey, where I'm at, and you just go 14 miles up the road, and you're up at Jose Wine Caves, and you're at a 1.
Hate you.
Yeah, a 1 and a 2.
In order for me to get a 1, I gotta go through like 5 states to get to a 1.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, the lowest I can get even here in Illinois, and that would be me driving maybe about 2 hours, maybe 3, would be to get down to maybe a Bortle 3. That's probably the lowest I'll get.
Yeah.
Here in
I
Illinois.
think the difference between the P2 and the D3 is used for the LEDs, right? If I'm not
Correct.
mistaken.
Yep.
Whereas the P2 doesn't really take out any of the LEDs because the LEDs has a strong green spike in the spectrum.
Yep.
And I tell you what, it's just a nightmare to get rid of that. But I think that's where HuTech has come up, and that's the thing about HuTech is they're Japanese made filters, so the quality control is real well. Case in point, like Eric says, the NBZ filters. I mean, you can't beat that for a one-shot color camera. But I don't know. I got to just double check. Can we check his website, the HuTech website, to see if the P2 filters even still, if it seems still available? Because I do know that he was thinking about discontinuing it, but he may have not done that yet.
Let me see here. I can't get there.
Light pollution. Filter price.
You said there's the P2, right?
Yeah, the HuTech P2
No,
filter.
he's still got them on his website. The P2s, he still has them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So definitely, yeah. I said you might have a lot more success with that, with the Bortle 3 to 5 if you're going to consider LRGB.
Yeah.
Well,
only thing is that they're only unmounted.
Yeah, it looks like they're only unmounted.
Yeah.
I prefer unmounted filters in my filter wheel because I just don't like those retainer rings. You don't know what the thickness is, and each manufacturer has a different thickness. And every now and then, I guess on the ZWOs, you have issues where that retainer ring doesn't kind of move because it gets hung up on the motor.
Yeah, well, the
So that's why
ZWOs are a little bit different than the QHYs. At least the QHYs, they'll make ones for unmounted, but they also have the ones that for mounted 2-inch filters, which are, that's what I use. I use the 3L, the CFW 3L, and that works completely awesome. There's no retaining ring. There's no nothing. And I hear you. It took me like an hour and reading that damn horrible instruction to kind of, when I did my first 36 millimeter filters with ZWO filters, I'm like, how the hell are you going to do this?
Yeah.
And then I find these little gaskets and the screws and all this guys. I'm like, this is just too much. Just give me the mounted. Let me just screw them in there and unscrew them, and I'll be fine.
Well, I tell you what's nice is like FLI. If you ever notice the retaining gaskets, they're not really retaining gaskets, but they're plastic, and they have 3 different levels to them. So depending upon what filters you get in there, you can actually just move these filters. They've got different little lips that have different thicknesses to accommodate it, which really makes a lot more sense than just having that little red retainer washer with an M3 or an M2 screw. I mean, and you look at your filter, your filter is like flat, and then you got this little retainer that's off on an angle. I always thought these manufacturers can do a better job, but FLI has done a phenomenal job on those little retainer sets.
Let me see here. Josh was asking, is a D3 good for one-shot color?
Well, it's a light pollution suppressant. So I mean, and it's just made for, it's not made for LEDs, but it does take the wavelengths of LEDs into account. So yeah, it should work fine for OSC. I don't see why not.
Yeah. See, the crazy thing about it is when you look at these transmission bandpass curves, everybody looks at what the peak is, right? And I always think, look at it from the other way. Look at what it doesn't allow in. And if it does allow in, how much does it allow in? Look at it from that perspective, more so than what the peak value is. It'll really kind of open up your eyes looking at these different filters.
Yeah, especially when you got that nice wide peak where it's like, oh yeah, well, you know what? It blocks out this wavelength, but it lets in everything on the sides, that doesn't
Yeah.
help you. That doesn't help you. So because wavelengths come through at like a certain, at a certain nanometer, yes, but from 656.3, let's say, what is that for H alpha, right?
Alpha,
So
yeah.
if it blocks 656.3, but it lets in 656.2 all the way over to the beginning and 656.4 all the way out to 800,
Yep.
what does that really do
Yep.
for you?
Yeah. So definitely look at these transmission bandpass curves as to what it does not allow, and that's the way to look at those things, because basically all these filters are interference filters. Narrowband filters are really nothing more than just interference filters. And if you look at it from that perspective, because you said you got H alpha at 656.3, you got O3 at 500.7, and I
Yep.
think S2 at 672,
I think it's
nanometers.
672, yeah.
Something like that. And then you got like nitrogen, which is pretty close to HA, but there's just a little bit of nitrogen on planetary. I mean, if you're definitely a planetary imager, then you could definitely get away with an N2 filter.
Yeah, absolutely. Eventually, I'm gonna get that. What is it? The UBVRI set.
Oh, the Bader
Yeah.
scientific filter.
Yeah, the scientific filters. Eventually, I'll go that route. But right now, I just spent $5,000 on an oil tanker, so I don't think I could. I don't think I can afford the filters right now. So.
But Gideon has a question here. He had a comment, more of a question here. Aren't filters these days, like, graphics processing units and CPUs, marginal gains for a lot of cash?
They can be.
Yeah.
Well, once again, it really depends upon you being the artist. Are you doing scientific work? Because once you start to change an image, then it's no longer scientific. But if you're looking for just doing artistic work, where like you like the greens, the nebulas, or you just like those real nice copper to aqua colors, then definitely, yeah, the filter is going to give you the pretty pictures. No question about it. It's just what you want to spend to get it. I mean, if you truly want to just do what you think, case in point, we think that hydrogen alpha radiates in red, right? At 656.3, it would appear that that's what it is, but nobody's been up there to really see what this thing looks like. So we're assuming that that's exactly what the color should be like. So if you want true color representation, then you go with broadband filters, but you have to be at a dark sky site. So, yeah, it's how much money you want to invest into the hobby. If you truly want to do scientific filters like what Dan was looking at with the beta filters, or if you want to do, narrowband filters. At least that's my opinion.
Optolong.
And that's the big spin coming up here, right?
Oh no, that's not tonight. This is Thanksgiving. This is the SHO 3nm 2-inch set.
Eric, put your name in as Alfred E. Newman on the wheel.
Oh. And speaking of, I got to make a editor's I guess an editor's what do you call it, correction, I guess.
Okay.
Regarding, and I know you and I, Eric, spoke about it the other day, and I got confirmation from Gerd Newman personally.
Yes, yeah.
And we are all about learning, and we are all about educating. So I was educated by Gerd Newman himself. And
I was right.
Eric was right. Eric was right. I read them. I do. I have the instructions right here. And I am not above the law. I am not Judge Dredd. But
I am the law.
Mr. I am the law. But so these collimation screws on the sides that Eric was talking about that can do to tell. Now, to me, collimation is about aligning things in parallel. That's what collimation is to me, because I'm used to it in mirrors. And the way I read it said exactly the same thing. I obviously don't know how to read because it says the exact opposite, and these collimation screws do affect the tilt of the plates. Okay. And that's the whole point. Just like Eric said on the other show, is that the advantage of getting the CTU is that in situations like the RASA, where the collimation screws are facing your lens, you do not want to put an Allen key that close to your mirror or your lens. So the reason why Gerd Newman did
And
this,
it's a pain in the butt too, because if you had it like that,
How
you
would you?
may end up having to try to take the
the
camera
entire
off
thing
on.
off and put it back on, and yep,
You'd
Yeah,
never get
yeah,
things right.
right.
It would
So
drive you
yeah.
insane.
here's the one thing that I've noticed with these side screws, though. It only moves the ring 2 millimeters. That's all it does. It doesn't go that much further out. And they're very tight screws, very tight grub screws. So you have to make a lot of effort into making that change. And if you're doing it like you're on a RASA and you're in the front of your tube, you want to do this very carefully because you got to put a lot of pressure and torque on these grub screws to even move it a half a millimeter. So
What
just
I would do then is to, before you even put it on there, before you even put your CTU and camera on the RASA or your Hyperstar, maybe take a little bit of time and just loosen them up, and then and loosen that crack, get it so you can be able to manipulate it, so you don't have to fight it because it's so darn tight.
well, no, it's not the okay. So it's not these tightening screws that make it tight. So these
Bring
fixing
it up. Yeah.
screws on the front that are facing the lens, yes, those will lock it down, and those need to be loosened before you put it on the front of the scope. But here's the
Yeah.
thing. There is a screw, there's a spring that this grub screw pushes up against in order to tilt the plate, right? So
Right.
that screw is very, very extremely small and very, very tight. That's what causes the tightness of it. So I don't know. It'll work fine. Just be careful.
Just be
Dan,
careful.
this comes back to what that link, the Astrobin link about these manufacturers, is that the big issue now is tip tilt. Everybody's having tip tilt issues. And if these manufacturers, they go back to engineering and they orthogonally do these things the way they should be done right, we wouldn't be running into having to do these band-aid fixes of tip tilt plate adapters. Case in point, we talked about it. If you look at a QHY camera, it's got that dovetail. Typically, usually it will attach to its own tip tilt plate, but if you don't use that tip tilt plate, you can actually attach that to the filter wheel direct. But there's 3 little set screws that
Yep.
tighten the filter wheel to the dovetail plate. Have you ever look inside and see where exactly those grub screws seat on that dovetail plate? You can understand now why you've got a little bit of flexure, because you got that camera being so freaking heavy, being only held onto that filter with 3 grub plates. Or grub screws. It really needs to come down to these manufacturers to say, hey, look, we're going to do a complete engineering redesign, and we're going to go and say, hey, if tip tilt is a big issue, then we got to put the effort into making these things done right. And it's a good article. The one that Dan put up, you put it up last Friday, right, Dan?
Yep.
It's a great article on Astrobin that this person literally has actually done, and there's been so many responses to it.
Yeah, it's a really good read through. I've read through it, and it's a really good, interesting article. If you haven't, I'll see if I can throw it back in there again.
As I guarantee you, when people read it, they've all encountered the same issue that this guy has actually proposed. And man, when I read it, it was like, yep, that's exactly what I've had to go through here when I got into this hobby. Eric, I'm sure you've had to go through it as well. but it is
Still
just a
doing
great
it.
read.
Yeah, I got the article right here.
You should see how many people have responded to it now. It's just an incredible read.
There you go. There's the link for the article in case you want to read it again. But it's we've gone through so many. There are so many things that they, in all fairness to the manufacturers, just think about. We don't have to deal with amp glow anymore for the most part. The read noise has gone down exponentially since over the past 20 years with the invent of CMOS chips and others with low read noise. I mean, there are so many things manufacturers have done right, but by doing those things right, they've let some other things go. To Pete's point, that how do you not make the chip flat to the plane before you put it in on the board?
Typically, and Dan, just to follow up on this, if you've got limited back focus, right, 55 millimeters or 56 millimeters, how then do you have the ability to put it in the CTU? Because now you're
You don't.
really eliminating. So this is where I say is that these manufacturers, and to your point, right, they've got rid of amp glow, they've looked at that. They're going to really have to look at the fact that, okay, how do we now make it easier to basically align all these devices so we don't have to have the tip plate issue that we're encountering right now? Because it seems to me
Yeah.
that on all the forums, everybody is up in arms now about tip tilt. I mean, it's just
Yep.
amazing. Every day I read something and somebody's encountering that same issue.
No.
No, Ernie's saying it's in microns, and yeah, you know what? Um, if it was only microns, we got issues with cameras out there that you just like put up, and when you test them, man, they got this just starting out of the gate at 20% tilt. I mean, and that's not a micronic issue. That is a quality assurance issue to me. If it was microns, we wouldn't be worried about tip tilt as much as we are now. You know what I mean? And part of the problem is not only the the chip and the plate of the camera, but it's how the camera is attached to everything else.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, Dan. In the CCD world that we got into the hobby, I don't recall ever running across these tip tilt issues that we're encountering now with CMOS cameras.
No,
We never did. So that tells me that if you're spending, say, $6,000 to $7,000 for a camera, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to be spending. You think that, guess what? I should definitely have a better way of means to be able to mate my camera to my filter wheel, to my OAG, to my reducer, so I don't have to now go ahead and put a Band-Aid fix for a tilt issue.
and then you're gonna
I
have
think
to give away something else in order to fit that tilt plate in there that you probably are
exactly.
gonna need. Now I can't use my OAG. I gotta go to a guide scope, a big guide scope, and then what do? Oh, I introduced tube flexure. Oh, there you go. There's another problem. So I mean,
Yeah.
so
It's
yeah,
all, you know what? Let's be real. It's all because either the manufacturers, they just don't care, they're lazy, or they just don't care about these issues, and or it's just about more money. Okay, so we have this. Hey, let's put a band-aid, let's make a band-aid fix, and we can sell these tilt plate, adapters for $20 a pop
and
or
so
something
what if
like
they
that.
suck up 20 millimeters of back focus?
Yeah, so so who cares?
Yeah.
That's $20. You got so many thousands of people who are dealing with this, and we're selling that we're buying our product. Hey, that's more of a, that's more in our pocket. It's more in our bottom line there.
Yep.
If we these band-aids out there. So,
Yeah. It's kind
And
of interesting. It's just,
it all goes in there. Right in
yeah.
there. Closet of death.
Did, did, did,
Right there.
did you you know, we talked about this last week about a dovetail plate on the bottom of, say, a Rasa that gets put into the saddle, and you've got 3 locking knobs on that saddle plate to actually hold. Do you remember a company called Raylock Saddles? Raylock Saddles came out about 2 years ago. The owner just died here a couple of months ago, but they came up with a very interesting design that there was no knobs to lock the dovetail plate in the saddle. It was more of like a little handle that you kind of turned. And if you kind of look at Raylock, you'll see that. I kind of thought, you know what? That's a real interesting design, because now you just don't have a little threaded screw holding on to the angle of a dovetail plate, because that's eventually going to raise up that dovetail plate. But if you look at that Raylock design, that's a pretty interesting design that he actually had on there. So instead of having 3 knobs, and we've talked about 3 knobs being better than 1 knob, it's more of like a little lever that kind of clamps into place and secures it. I kind of thought, there's somebody that's a step ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
fortunately, it's only you only have, it's those people with that type of foresight, and they see that problem, and they see a problem, they put it out there, but they only can put out so much product. They're limited, because they're small business and what have you. And unfortunately, there's these engineers that are probably doing this type of stuff, like these mentioned, this gentleman passed away just recently, that are probably older engineers who are doing this as a hobby, just like we have so many, because this is a hobby for a lot of people, and they're doing this to correct this issue, but they're not doing it necessarily to make a huge amount of money, and so they're going to kick out to do so many of these products. And sometimes you can be lucky enough and you can find the product and get this fix, get this fix here or there, and and it corrects your issue. But sometimes you might miss the boat, and you may miss that opportunity because that company was just a fly by night, just an engineer, a retired engineer that wanted to fix something, but now they can't do it anymore, for one reason or another. I don't know.
And here you go. Here's exactly what Pete was talking about. I found the picture that I was talking about. Here you go. Okay.
Yeah. So there you go. Take a look at the gap right there, Dan. Look at that gap.
Okay. You see that?
Yep.
Yeah.
There was another picture out there that was a lot worse. Now, this is an EQ6R saddle with an ADM dovetail. Okay, this is promoting the ADM. They make a new saddle adjustment plate for this. Okay, now.
So how much tilt is that going to induce now? Look at the angle. It's not completely flat, is it? It's not.
No.
So it's going to induce tilt.
Yeah, what it does is it pushes this side up so it gets stuck here. Now, this is one of the older saddles from what I remember. I have never had this problem with my EQ6R. I've only used Prima Luce dovetails or the Astrophysics dovetails, even the Radiant dovetails I've used, and never had this problem. I think this was an issue that was fixed already, because you could even see how the right side here is lifted up a little bit. Yeah, that's all lifted up, and the space is higher here than it is here.
Yep.
So I've never had this problem with the EQ6R. My EQ6R has always been working, but this is something that you may come up against if you're having this problem. So take a look at that and see if you have that gap.
A lot of that is talked about in that article that you sent the link in. I mean, I really encourage a lot of people to read that link, Dan, that you posted.
Yeah, I posted it again up there. So,
yeah. But as I said, until they decide to look at this, until more people complain, they're just going to be happy enough just to say, okay, well, we're selling it. But, as I said, it opens up another opportunity for the Gerd Newmans or the Octopi to come in, and now we have to compensate for, the tilt. But like most people, they're limited by the amount of back focus distance that they've got. Yeah. So you brought up that added point there, Dan. It's like you take one situation, you resolve it, but you open up another situation. So
Yeah, so I was going to hit on that, Dean. Yeah, there's been a couple of ZWO quality issues. The biggest of which was the 2600 oil debacle. That was a big issue. Has been since fixed. But there's been some other issues as far as I've had some cameras returned that haven't worked coming out of the box. But you get that with all manufacturers. You're always gonna have a percentage of things that are lemons. It's unfortunate, but for the most part, ZWO, you know, even with the explosion they've had, I think they've kept up fairly well and with the opening of their US repair shop in Indiana. I think that's really a good thing because you know what? If you do have an issue, you don't have to wait for it to go back to China and come back and deal with that. There is a repair shop right in the US now. So that does
yeah,
help out quite a bit.
and I'm not bashing any manufacturer, but I
No,
mean, it
no, I
just
know
comes
you're
down.
not.
It comes down that there's something to be said that buy once, cry once. You look at the cost of, say, American-made cameras like FLI, or for that matter, Diffraction Limited. Yeah, they're more expensive, but in the long run, they're built like tanks. I mean, they just run and run and run. You know,
Yeah.
with the China-made product, they had the issue of the 294. Dan, that was your camera. Remember, and Eric, remember you had issues with
Wait,
the Band
what do you mean was
294.
my camera? Did you
That
like
was mine.
You,
did you
I'll be sending it back to you. I'll get it back to
what do you mean was my camera? It's
you. If you need it, I'll
Someday it'll make it back to you, Dan.
it's been permanently adopted by Pete.
now, Dan, you need. But as I said, the one thing that they did come up with was those barrel-shaped cameras, and so consequently, the smaller barrel-shaped cameras had a little bit more enticement to it because they were lighter weight, they were compact, they were CMOS technology, whereas like the SBIGs were the big boxy, cameras. But as I said, it's something in terms of the build quality and the quality control. I'm thinking that the China made product will probably get there eventually. They're just not there just yet. But it's not to say that next 2 or 3 years, I think they'll have better quality control.
Yeah, we'll see.
See, it's a bit strange that you'd ever expect to pay $5,000 for a Canon DSLR and have issues, whereas it's much more expected with the ZWO cameras that there could be a QC issue because of the lower price. And maybe we should we spin the wheel? Should we spin the wheel? I
I
guess
think so.
about that
Yeah, it's
time.
about that.
It's 10:55,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And let me get it up. And we'll spin that wheel. Let's see, because today is the IP for AP giveaway.
This is a response to Al's question. Al, you'll probably end up buying 3 cameras before you end up maybe buying an SBIG, and that'll definitely pay for the SBIG camera in the long run.
Let me see let me just make sure we didn't get any more new members on that. I didn't get a chance to check first. Go on to Raffle Press. Raffle Press. IP for AP. Nope, same amount of users. Okay, so here we go. Ready? And here we go. So we didn't break 100 users yet. We're still at 95. So again, if you want to be involved in our giveaways, I don't know why my tickers keep on stopping. I'm gonna have to look at that. I don't know why the tickers keep on stopping. But here is the Master Pixinsight giveaway. We got 95 entries here. And today is for the IP for AP giveaway for a free year subscription. That's I think it's retailed at about $100. And you get a free year to IP for AP. It gives you great tutorials on not only Pixinsight but also the Photoshop as well. So here we go. Good luck.
All right.
And the winner is
The winner is Mark. No, Steven.
the captain. The captain wins. Steve White, Captain 404. Congratulations, Steve.
Hey.
And I don't know if he's still on.
Congrats.
I know he was on before. He might have went to
Not
bed.
earlier.
But
Yeah.
Congratulations, Captain. I'll send you out that email, and you'll get a what you call it, a confirmation email from Peter Pruill, and tell you how to redeem your voucher for a year subscription to IP for AP. So, congratulations,
awesome.
Captain. Very, very good.
Congratulations.
And let's see. This Friday coming up, we're giving away. If I could grab it real quick in my pile of gifts. No, I don't know which one it is. It's in here somewhere. There it is. Here we go. We're giving away this guy. This is the Optolong L Extreme 2-inch. We're giving this away on Friday. So be tuned in for Friday. And we got to figure out still what's going on with this. Oh God! You want to spin it again?
Sure.
Let's go. Hey, I thought we were going to keep this going until.
Oh yeah, we're going to spin it again anyway. So let's spin it again until somebody's getting this before I die. I'm telling you. So let's see. We'll go to. Let's see. Steve White won that, and then we'll open up. Let's see. We're going to open up the original wheel. I still have the original wheel. There it is, right there. And watch, it's gonna. So just so we know, if it ends up on Mark Ellis or Timothy Sessoms, actually, you know what? Mark Ellis said we could take him off. So let's see. Too many tickets. So Mark Ellis and Timothy Sessoms, we'll spin it again. So here we go. And Bob Santos said. Bob Santos said to give it back too. So
yeah. So roll it again.
Remove Bob Santos.
Remove Bob Santos and let's roll it. So
somebody's getting this.
Point.
You got to be kidding me. Oh God. Okay. Next. If it goes to him again, I swear to God.
Oh my God! I thought it was going to go to Bob.
Tim Sessions.
Joshua Minier. Josh,
all right.
If you're watching, this wheel was made before I started getting emails. So Josh, you have a week. You have a week to email me at dan@astroworldwed.com, and I will mail this to you. If you don't answer me by next Wednesday, it spins again. So.
Oh,
that's
gosh.
funny. That is funny.
Next time, what we're gonna do is sometime during that next Wednesday show.
What?
You're gonna have to ask. I'm gonna put a secret word out there, like they do for the radio channels. I'm gonna put, and whoever can tell me what the secret word is, at whatever time I decide, that's who's gonna get the camera. So it'll be a secret word.
Oh man, this is like the Jelly of the Month Club.
It's horrible. I can't give this thing away.
Oh man,
I can't give it away. Cannot give it away.
Oh,
it's funny.
All right.
No,
All right.
Gideon, you're not on this reel. This reel was put out over a year ago, and it was a raffle where people actually paid money for this raffle. And some people donated money just because they wanted to donate to the show. Some people just, wanted to buy tickets, but I don't know. But soon I'm just going to spin another wheel. And
really? Oh man, maybe it's going to end up being, you know what? We may need to just create a new wheel for it and let other people.
Yeah, I
Get
think you're right. I think maybe that's what we'll do. If Joshua doesn't come to us next week, we'll just start a new wheel. I'll put a new raffle. It won't even be a raffle. It'll just be a sign up like the rest of them.
Yeah.
You get it for free. so it's not even a raffle.
Because you know what? Because I think, people we've wrapped. It was a raffle, and people have donated. Were really cool to donate and everything. So the cameras paid for it in itself, I would say, based off of the raffle. So yeah, let's do it as a giveaway, and I don't know what the problem is. I think that I thought that was a pretty decent planetary camera.
No, it is. The problem is that we have 5 or 6 people that are actually on that wheel that have bought 10 or 5 or 3 more than one chance. You're able to buy up to 10 chances. And only 5 people or 6 people are actually on the wheel, but it looks filled up. So
it's something.
Yeah, now it said don't forget to vote on the poll. Vote on the poll for M45. Vote for the picture of the month, and vote for the picture of the month ends on Saturday. Actually, no, we start voting for the September picture of the month on Saturday. We end our last picture of the week is this Friday. We crown our last picture of the week. So we'll have 5 pictures of the week for the month of September. We'll have 3 by PG, 1 by Greg, and whoever is next Friday. So it's Saturday's the first. So final thoughts, everybody?
No, it was fun show, great show. Thanks everybody for contributing, throwing out questions, and just hanging out with us. Giving us an opportunity to critique your images, and and sending in those images. We really appreciate that. A lot of them are really, really good. It's almost like we don't. Why seriously are we critiquing these? Because these are good.
I know. It's you got to keep on. You got to send us pictures that you want help with.
Yeah. But again, this is one of those things that, if you like what we're doing and people who are interested in astrophotography and are looking to get some guidance, need some help in either astronomy or astrophotography and just trying to get started, do us a favor, like the show, share the show. If you're on Facebook, share the show in your feed, share it to public. Share it with your fellow astro imagers, with your fellow new astronomers. Share it with them. Let it get into their feeds so they know about it, so they can come on and check out the show and make their own opinion of how they feel about the show. And hopefully we can also at the same time give them some information, give them some tips. Maybe we can, educate them on a couple of things, and they can ask questions, because there's no such thing as a dumb question when it comes to this type of stuff. And let's help educate these new astro imagers and people that are new to the hobby, so they can make conscious decisions if they're just getting started and they haven't really bought any equipment yet. We can help them out, because as Pete says, buy once, cry once. Let's try to help people out before they make those investments, and to get the equipment and to get the right equipment that's going to fit their needs and help them out and get them on a good path to get started. So we can give them a good foundation. So
exactly. And
choice words, Eric. Choice words. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'll just show real quick from current slide, and I don't want to play settings. What happened?
It's so funny. The show's almost over, so basically it's been 2 hours. I've been on Nina with autofocus, with the autofocus, the filter offset calculator. It's almost done with this final 2 filters on this 3rd iteration.
Oh my! Are you going through the whole thing?
Yeah, I'm going through the whole thing, so it can give me so it can calculate the offsets, and I'm gonna save it. It'd be done. I'm actually gonna I'm gonna take a screenshot and jot the whole thing down, so I don't have to go back to it again. Because this is long.
Yeah. So just give some people a heads up on what to expect for next week. This is my presentation for next week. So there was some things about in the chat for last week, and while Eric was going through this thing about how little women are represented in astronomy, which made me look at, well, what have women done in astronomy? And I'm going to be doing a presentation of some of the women that are in astronomy in the past up to today.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it makes me think about, so many pioneers of women that have done so much for us when it comes to astronomy.
Josh Manier, I'm sorry. Josh Manier is on the show right now. Josh, do you want this thing? If you want it, you won. So if you won and you want this thing, send me your email, send me your info on my email so I can mail this thing out to you. Please, I've had it for a year. Please. Let me get rid of this and make some room on my desk, please. So I don't want this in I need room. I need more room in my closet of death. It's not a bad camera. I'm making fun of it, but it's not a bad camera. It's been used literally once. It's a Neptune C camera. It's the IMX 464. It's a nice planetary camera. Send me your email. Send me your mailing address to dan@astroworldweb.com, and I'll put it in the mail. All right. So
there you go.
There you go. It's gone.
Absolutely.
He wants it. He said, "Yes, sir. I want it. It's yours, my friend. You won."
Congratulations. Congratulations. So that's
gone.
That's awesome.
It's gone.
That's
But
well, hopefully it'll stay.
I'm sorry, Eric. I didn't mean to cut you off, Eric. Sorry about that, but it was.
But yeah, about your presentation about women in astronomy, and it's amazing. The women that have contributed. Not just to astronomy, to the space program, to all this. To everything that we're doing today. You have Beverly Lynn, who catalog, the lens blue, bright nebulae and dark nebulae. You have Katherine Johnson, who is one of the pioneers of the space race and of NASA. I mean, they actually of getting our astronauts, to the moon and and around in orbit, during the Apollo, program. There's so many incredible women that have contributed to, astronomy, our space program, and everything. That we can't dismiss these incredible women and the contributions that they've made. So I think what you're doing is going to be an awesome.
Yeah. So again, to Eric's point, I mean, there's no way I could put in a 20-minute or 10-minute, kind of presentation fit all the women in astronomy. It would never happen. But I'm just going to go over 6 of them. And they include Hypatia, Mary Somerville, Carolyn Herschel, Henrietta Leavitt, Andrea Ghez, and Sarah Seeger. So those are the ones that I'm looking at presenting for that night. So it's going to be, I'm actually learning quite a bit about them. I didn't know half the stuff that I didn't know about them. So it was kind of cool.
Can you imagine looking at class plates what we do now is blink, right? We have blinking.
No.
Can you imagine the tenacity to look through glass plates and just to sit there and do that? I mean, these women were absolutely incredible. You know, we complain about, oh God, I got to go blink through my images. Well, wait a minute, it could be a hell of a lot worse.
It could
Yeah,
have been.
it's plate solving was literally plate solving, and that's what they were doing. And they were looking through plates and see what matches up and what doesn't.
Yeah, it's just amazing. I mean, God, it's going to be a good. I'm looking forward to it, Dan. That should be a real good presentation.
It should be a really good presentation.
Well, it's taken a lot of research. So I've been working. I worked on it most of the day today. I'll work on it most of the day tomorrow, and hopefully I'll have it done for Friday. But it's like when you're dealing with the internet, you never know. You got to kind of siphon through all the information. There's only so much Wikipedia will tell you. So
Right.
But anyway, that's what we got going on. Oh, great. Thanks, Dylan. Appreciate it. But that's what we got going on. And don't forget, we're giving away the LX Stream on Friday. So if you're not logged in, log in and get involved with the Optalong giveaway. And I guess that's it. Everybody, great.
Prayers for in Florida. I mean, everybody just hopefully Scott will be able to join us Friday.
Yep. Hunker down and just ride it out now if you're still there, and just stay safe, everybody.
Stay safe, everybody.
Yeah.
I tell you, speaking of that, I'm so, I am great. My sister, I think I mentioned that she was in Jamaica when the thing just hit.
Yep.
She just got home yesterday, so I'm very happy that she made it safely, and my nephew. So they're back here in Illinois because they had to fly. They had to fly out from Miami to Jacksonville to get here, and so yeah.
Hey, they're back. They're safe and far away
That's
from
what matters.
No hurricanes where you are. So
yeah, hurricanes where I'm at.
Very rare hurricanes for me. We have them every once in a while, but when we get them,
I can't believe I've blown like 3.5 hours of Nina of not imaging just to get this offset calculator done.
I'll be honest with you with the offset calculator, and just on a closing note, I never use it.
Yeah,
I never use it because you know what? Temperatures are going to change, and to me, if I'm going to change a filter, I'm going to do the focus just to stay safe. And that's it. If I had a temperature compensator on my focuser that compensates just like the camera compensates for temperature, then maybe I'll use the offset calculator because then the temperature remains stable. However, I mean, it's supposed to save you time, but if the temperature drops, I don't know how much time it really saves. What does it save? 20 seconds on every filter change? What am I throwing away? 3 photos a night? Come on.
Maybe.
But anyway. Yeah. It's 11:15. It's time for me to have another glass of wine and go to bed. And everybody, let me get my screen up real quick. And everybody, have a good night. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Don't forget, next Friday, we have the LX Stream giveaway, and we're gonna have another good time. We'll talk about the women of astronomy and whatever else comes up. So, everybody, have a good night. Take care. Stay safe for our folks in Florida, and remember to keep imaging, keep educating, and clear skies. And we'll see you Friday night. Have a good night.
Have a good night, everybody.
Goodbye, Newman.